Hi, I'm Will Robertson with Will Robertson Adventures.
And I'm Jenna Ostergard, Will's sister with Travel Like Jen.
We would like to show you how we sailed 5 days, 200 miles on the Texas coast on this Hobie 14. Now, a lot of people may wonder how in the world we sailed this trip on a Hobie 14. A Hobie 14 is not a very big boat. It has a 350-pound capacity, but my sister and I are lightweights. We don't weigh very much. Even at that left us with about 100 pounds of total gear that we could take, and 42 of that would be water for the first half of the trip and the second half of the trip. So we had to pack super light. So we decided that we'd start the trip in Fort Mansfield with 5 gallons of water, and that we would resupply at Market 37 Marina in Corpus Christi with another 5 gallons of water. With about 42 pounds of water on board, that pretty much left us with only about 60 pounds for gear, and that included everything: food, supplies, safety stuff, tents, sunscreen, bug spray, and anything we were wearing. We had 2 ways to anchor the boat on this trip. One was this little 2-pound Bruce anchor that we kept strapped right here in the corner. And the other one was a anchor pole or stick that a friend of mine made, Buddy. And we kept it in the webbing in the center of the tramp while we sailed. And when we used it, we would just stick it right through here and jam it into the sand about 2 feet, and that would hold it. One of the many challenges on this trip is just keeping our electronics charged. We had a VHF radio, satellite communication device, and 3 cell phones with us on the trip. And we used the cell phones mainly just for navigation. We would use the Big Blue 28-watt solar panel when we got to camp at the end of the day, and we charged 1 or 2 devices with it. And then we would use our power bank. We actually had 2 power banks, this one and this little inductive bank. A little tip for anybody doing the Texas 200: if you have an iPhone, which you probably do, you will not be able to charge your phone once the charging plug gets wet. So I highly suggest that you get yourself 1 or 2 of these inductive battery banks.
If you use one of these, all of these are going to get corroded right away. And it's possible the one in your phone is too. So you won't be able to charge, and you'll get that signal that your phone is wet or the charging cable is wet, and you just will be out of phone.
This is the way to go, folks.
So usually when we do these trips, we're on a different boat and we can take an ice chest. That was not the case. So there was no fun drinks. All we had room for and weight allowance for was water. So we just drank straight out of the big jug, and we had frozen them, but I think about 30 minutes into it, it was
just hot water.
It was just hot
right
water.
away.
Right away. So I drink about 100 ounces of water a day, and you really have to make sure that you are drinking during those trips because of the wind and the sun and everything. It's easy to get dehydrated.
Yeah, and we also took liquid IVs.
Oh yes.
And Propel drinks.
So yeah, I think about 2 liquid IVs a day, and that's super helpful.
Pretty hot in June in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Testing. All right, so I brought 1 dry bag full stuff that I wanted to keep dried. And basically I was wet the entire time, so I don't know if it mattered. But anyways, I have this camping pillow, which goes in the little bag and you blow up. It's nice. I like to sleep with a pillow. My brother, however, will just sleep with a pillow. I don't know how he does it. He's a beast. Sunscreen. We brought a lot of sunscreen, and everything is generally covered up, but you would be amazed how much sunscreen you use just on your face, your hands, and your feet. Just constantly reapplying. This was for when I got back to camp and I wanted to feel just a little bit clean. Do a nice wipe down.
Those things are amazing.
Yeah, they are. They're good. My phone, I kept dry in my dry bag. A charger, and this is where I learned this charger is not the best. I think I had bug spray in here. It could have been the sunscreen or the bug spray. I'm not sure, but one of them leaked all over my charging bank and it corroded. It was disgusting. So make sure that stuff's closed, or put it in another plastic bag inside of your dry bag. The other thing that I brought was a little camping sheet. In June, it's so hot you don't want a sleeping bag anyway, so just a sheet is fine. And then I don't like to sleep in wet clothes, unlike my brother who sleeps in wet clothes. I don't know how. It's him. So I brought one t-shirt and a pair of boxers, so I had dry pajamas. And then this is, I wore this most of the time, but it was around my neck to protect my neck from sunburn and windburn. And then of course my hat. So I'm not gonna put this on my head because even though it's washed, it looks gross. I'm just gonna buy a new one.
There you go.
You really have to have a hat. And I've tried several different ways to do the hair out sailing. I get what I call 200 mile per hour hair because back in the day when I raced motorcycles and miles per hour doing land speed racing, I would put my hair back and braid it or put it in two braids, and sometimes the braids would come out and it was really hard to brush my hair after because it was like so tangled. So it's the same thing sailing. You get 200 mile per hour hair, and I couldn't figure out what to do about it, and I still haven't found out. So if you know what to do to help, please let me know. I tried doing the braids. If you take your hat off, you get sunburn, and then you have a nice peeling. Not awesome. And then I tried to just do the knot on top of my head. So, but then you can't wear the hat. This.
These are all things I didn't think of. I don't know why.
Yeah. I did braids, but with all the wind, they kind of come out and you still get the tangling. Basically, at the end of 5 or 6 days, you have to spend a lot of time with a lot of conditioner and a brush. It takes a while. So, any tips on that, I greatly appreciate it. There's one more thing that I brought, and it was this little headlamp. So at night I could set up my tent or be in my tent and look at my phone or read or cook.
We seem to be good at getting to camp at night.
Yeah.
Yep.
We usually get there after it's dark, so yeah, I set the tent.
So I'm going to show you all the clothes, the extra clothes that I took on the Texas 200 this year. That's it. Took a pair of flip-flops. These ones are blown out. And a pair of shorts. I took the shorts so when I got to camp I could at least get out of these wet pants. However, I did wind up sleeping in wet pants at least 2 nights. We each had a life jacket that was outfitted with a few things. They both had knives. Right here, the knife secured the life jacket. I could just unhook real quick. I kept the satellite communication device in the pocket of my life jacket, clipped in. And in the other pocket, I kept the VHF radio.
Am I on?
Yep. Okay, Jennifer, so what did you wear all week?
I wore the same clothes for 2 days, and then when we stopped in Corpus at Snoopy's, I had them bring me an extra to change into. So then I gave them my dirty clothes and took the fresh ones and put them on. So I had 2 outfits, but they weren't on the boat. And of course, when you're on the boat, you have to life jacket on the entire time.
So you cheated.
I did cheat.
Yeah, I should have thought of that. Yep.
I also brought this little bag with my like tweezers and nail clippers and all that fun stuff, toothbrush, toothpaste, that kind of stuff, and I kept it in my dry bag as well.
You brush your teeth?
You brush your teeth?
I don't think so. It is. Other than the shorts and the flip-flops, I wore the same clothes for the whole week. So Jennifer, 200 miles is a long time to spend on a Hobie 14. So tell me about where you set most of the time on this boat.
About 3 different things. So if I was
At the helm?
I was right here, basically. Right at the reach. And if you were, then it depends. I guess if it was slow, a lot of times right down here. Sit like this.
Yeah, that was a really cool spot. That was one of my favorites.
When the water was getting high. What are you doing, Will?
Just sailing away. Enjoying the wind.
It's also a good spot to
Do that deal.
Yeah,
So that.
Will, turn around. Don't look.
So now everybody knows.
That's how you leave. The other good spot is just sitting like this.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of the time I put all of the stuff right here, and then I try to put all the soft stuff right here.
Made a pillow.
I made a pillow and leaned against it.
We got accused of laying down while we were sailing. Everybody thought it looked real comfortable, but it wasn't after a while.
No, it was a lot of work.
It was pretty tough. Would we do it again? Heck yeah. But next year we're going to be a little bit more comfortable. So we wound up sailing at night twice on this year's Texas 200. A Hobie 14 doesn't come with navigation lights. What we used were these little almost disposable ones we got from Amazon that we clipped on these backrests. And for a light on top of the mast, we just took an LED flashlight and we Velcro strapped it to the stay pointing up at the sail, and it lit the whole sail up. It worked pretty good. So if y'all watched our Texas 200 video, you probably saw these buckets tied down on the boat somewhere. There's 2 of them, one inside the other. One says sister and one says brother. I'm going to leave it up to your imagination on what these are for, but they sure have seen a lot of shit. So what are you going to do, Jennifer?
Well, I'm going to try to reenact something, but it's not going to be perfect because it's not pitch black here. So one of the nights that we got caught sailing at night, we kept trying to tack, and we couldn't for some reason. I don't know why, because we tacked all day perfectly. We were amazing.
We were tired.
And it was pitch black. So I ended up telling Will, you know, like, we gotta stop because we almost flipped the boat. I don't know, somehow we ended up on the same side, and even though we are lightweights, like he says, we don't need to be in the same spot on the boat. And 1/4 of the boat was underwater, and then we both like flew to different corners and saved it. But after that, I decided we needed to stop. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop. So Will got us over, and I was real freaked out because there were all these fan boats going all over the place, and they were loud. I thought they were gonna run into us, but I just was probably anxious. Anyways, he put this thing that Buddy made us. What is that called?
It's an anchor stick.
The anchor stick.
Yeah.
He got us anchored with the anchor stick over.
We got the anchor pole that Buddy made me.
By a little island, and I was not going on that island because it was all like
Nasty. Had snakes.
brush. I'm sure there were snakes in it, and I'm terrified of snakes. So, I wanted to put my tent up. He did not. He slept out. He slept on the boat in the water with the boat in the water. And I wanted to have my tent up. So I set up my tent. So I'm going to try to reenact this for you.
Okay. Okay, it's recording.
Testing.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. If you watch the video, you can probably see my Crocs were there. I think they were there all night, actually.
I think they were.
Exploding. It's probably bad because that was the only shoe that I Alright, that's good.
I can't get that thing back in the bag.
It is tough to put back in the bag, so.
So is this the official how to put a set of tent up on a Hobie 14 video?
No, I had done it 2 nights prior. This is wrong. Okay, so we want it this way. Here we go. And here we go. So then what I did is I strapped it so it didn't fly away. I had some little Velcro straps, and I strapped it in a couple of places. I strapped it, I believe, right around here.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And then here on the corner, and then one more time over there on that side. So that was my tent. And then I did, you guys, I did go get my stuff that was on his side and put it in my tent. So he had room to sleep.
Thanks.
Don't worry. So this is why I'm going to bed.
Good night.
Okay.
I wound up just throwing the sheet on top of the trampoline and going to sleep. This is pretty much all of our kitchen stuff. This is what we use to eat. We had the jet boil. If you don't have a jet boil, you should probably get one. This is the fuel canister for the jet boil. We use, I need to stop saying, we ate a lot of freeze-dried meals, pretty much freeze-dried breakfast and dinner. We didn't really eat lunch. We just snacked on beef jerky, trail mix, and things like that. Cheese sticks. For breakfast too, we also brought some of these little protein we had a couple spoon fork things, one bowl because the jet boil has a bowl, and you can eat, one person can eat out of the bag on these freeze-dried meals. Cool thing about the jet boil, it has a coffee press, so we each brought a coffee mug and some coffee, and there were a little sweetener in here, salt and pepper. matches just in case we needed them. And here's our Propels and our liquid IVs, what's left over from the 200. That was how we cooked food and what we ate.
Okay.
Can you fold it up?
I'm gonna try to fold this. Sometimes it goes well.
I cannot fold this thing up. You think that's it? That was pretty fast. I can't do that. I don't know why. Here's a few of the things that were in my bag. I had the first aid kit, extra batteries for the VHF radio, insect repellent, more sunblock, more insect repellent, and I also had a bag of these adult personal washcloths. You can buy these at the adult diaper section at HEB. Don't ask me how I know that. All of our trash we put in these large Ziploc bags, and that worked out pretty good. We had one for the first half of the trip and one for the second half of the trip. So let's talk about tools. I took all the tools that it would take to disassemble this boat and put it back on the trailer, and that's it. This was what we took: a pair of pliers, 2 7/16 wrenches, and we kept them in this bag. Bag was pretty cool. Keep our flip-flops in here too. Took a little bit extra line, a few extra rigging pieces, and some Velcro straps in here. Pretty much that was it for tools. So we did this trip with no motor, which is really cool. Now that we did that, next year we're gonna have a motor. These little backrests that we made, you can stuff the paddle down in those really good. It actually kind of helped hold things in the boat too. And then when we needed the paddle, we could get it out real quick. And Jennifer's going to show us how we paddled. That was the best place to paddle.
Yep.
We could clip along pretty good with no wind. I think we got 3 miles an hour just paddling. We probably paddled 20 miles. A lot. Yeah, we paddled a lot. Well, I'm not joking with you. We are paddling across Carlos Bay. There is no wind. I know there's some boats behind us. Another storm over there. 3 boats in front of us. Running about 5 knots. Earlier we got 8 or 9. We also used paper charts for navigation. We printed them out and laminated them ahead of time. When we got done with each sheet, we would just put them in our trash bag. Binoculars. It's always nice to have a set of binoculars, and these things have done about 5 Texas 200s. They're pretty worn out, but they still work. We can't forget about reef boots. You're going to want some sort of reef boots. These are about done, but these are definitely the way to go. So other than the... Here.
All right, so basically I shoved everything that we had on the other side, and then I put this out here.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. Hold on.
Is this the right one?
Hi. The Texas coast on this Hobie 14. I don't know how to fold this tin up.